Welcome back to Heralytics, where you can get your dose of amateur hero analysis for free.
H? That's not the intro. Oh, never mind. Hi, everyone. Today we'll be talking about a very interesting topic.
But before that, I want to get one thing out of the way. Yes, we have merch now. No, it was not my idea. Link in the description.
Well, that cat is out of the bag. Let us know what you think. Now then, most of you have probably already seen our part 1 of the Where Are the Missing Heroes video. This time, we're going into even more depth, as well as visiting some of the scenes where some of the missing heroes were last seen.
As always, don't do what we do at home. We're not fully trained, but we are more trained than most of you watching. Stay safe, folks.
Because of that, we won't be revealing the exact addresses or regions that we will be visiting. Now then, where did we leave off last time?
We went over the history of each missing hero and the current accepted theories as to what happened to them, along with a general timeline. Although the public media has accredited either family emergencies or retirement for most of the missing heroes, the evidence to that being the truth is hair thin.
When you start looking into what we do know about the cases, it becomes very obvious very quickly that something else is going on. Let's take a look at an example. Here's Terracotta, a rank 100 hero that was in action for a period of 5 years. If you remember the last video, we mentioned that he had a particularly strong earth quirk, although he seemed to struggle with fine control.
Prior to his disappearance, he'd been part of a minor scandal where a shopping center partially collapsed, and the newspapers at the time accused his quirk of causing. His agency refuted it, saying that to do so, his quirk would have to be twice as powerful as it's listed. Soon after, the agency declared that Terracotta was retiring from heroics to concentrate on his family.
Seems pretty cut and dry, right? At most, you could argue that the scandal pushed him into retiring early, especially considering he wasn't a hugely popular hero in the first place. However, if you look at the records of the time, Terracotta didn't have any family. For those of you who don't know, all heroes are registered in the National Hero Database, which anyone with a library card can access the basic information from.
Don't ask us how that makes sense.
Basic information in this case is age, license number, start and end date, and marital status. Why marital status? Well, hero weddings are so heavily commercialized that there's a whole industry on the creation of memorabilia and souvenirs, so I suppose the Commission doesn't consider it sensitive information.
The Commission's illogical information security aside, we also know that Terracotta's parents died prior to his retirement, since he featured heavily in his speeches and interviews as his inspiration for getting into heroics. He also stated in the same interview that he wishes he would have had a sibling of some kind and that he doesn't feel connected to his extended family.
So, the evidence says that Terracotta had no close family to concentrate on. Some of you might say, well, couldn't the agency have just lied to save face after firing him for the scandal? Which is fair enough, however.
Hero Law 101 here. All hero contracts are notoriously difficult to sever, even for agencies. The cases of it happening are pretty rare outside of injury, death, or the agency's bankruptcy. Even retirement comes with so many caveats and restrictions that doing so suddenly always lands the agency with more paperwork than a stationery store. An agency will normally end up simply demoting a problem hero to sidekick or a desk job instead of letting them go completely, especially one as young as Terracotta.
And, importantly, retiring heroes almost always go on tour for publicity when their retirements are announced. Most of them take on entertainment roles or become spokespeople for the industry. It is almost completely unheard of for a retired hero to not show up on TV at least once afterwards. And yet, nothing from Terracotta was ever heard again.
The last known location we can pinpoint Terracotta at is this public park the week before the retirement announcement. A blog post from birdwatcher featherinyourcap.com mentions him 2 pages down, underneath a photo gallery of a rare sighting.
And I quote, almost as rare a specimen was sitting on the beach a few feet away from the nest. It took me a while to recognize him, since he looked so different from TV, But this is no doubt the hero Terracotta. I wanted to say hello, but he looked very busy with the man beside him. A manager, maybe. So instead, took this stealthy picture with my telescopic lens. Hopefully the birds won't get jealous.
Here's the image featherinyourcap.com mentions.
Certainly doesn't look like a friendly meeting. Whoever this person is, they are the last confirmed individual to have talked to Terracotta.
Terracotta's story is not unique to the missing heroes case, but it is one of the only ones with photographic evidence.
Keep this figure in mind as we go forward.
Last episode we mentioned Cyclops. She's widely known online for the meme format of her levitating a villain while reading manga. It's been a few years now, and that is one of the only lasting images we have of her.
She didn't even get a retirement announcement. A year after forums started noticing her absence, her agency quietly closed down. Nothing was ever said about her disappearance.
What we do know is that prior to her disappearance, she had a very active social media account. The account is now deleted, but an archived version is available using Farback Machine.
On Friday, cyclopping. Ugh, folks, how many times do I have to tell you that stalking is not cute? Found another brain-headed creep hanging around my apartment the other day. Get a life. Monday, cyclopping. Okay, this is getting out of hand. You do realize who I am, right? Like, I can locate people with my mind. I can tell when someone is creeping around. I'm not afraid to use my license preemptively here. That Wednesday, cyclopping. This isn't funny anymore.
That was the last Cyclops ever posted on the account.
Brain-headed creep. That does sound like the figure in the terracotta photo, doesn't it?
Could be a coincidence.
Could be, sure. Here's something that isn't a coincidence. The vice director for Terracotta's agency, who was in charge at the time of Terracotta's career, used to work at Cyclops' agency during the time Cyclops was alive. After the hero's retirement, he stepped down and went on to work at Trident Agencies.
Which is Trident Alpha's old agency before his disappearance.
Now, that's some bad luck to be working at 3 different agencies who end up with disappearances, all in a period of 3 years. It gets worse, however. This vice director, a certain Mr. Morita, disappeared himself 4 years ago. This is one disappearance that does have a police report. Supposedly, one of his coworkers quietly told the police about their suspicions that Morita was defrauding the agency. When the police went to arrest him, his apartment was empty.
Creepy. But this is just a small sample size of the total disappearances. It would take all day to go over them all, but we do have some statistics to look at with more in-depth numbers in the description box. I was just able to convince I that we didn't need to go over the math, which you can thank me for.
Well, statistics. So, on first glance, the missing heroes don't have much in common besides noteworthy quirks and at least residency in Japan during their disappearance. Digging into available records as well as their public stats, here's what we can find. The missing heroes have, on average, from 3 to 7 years of hero activity. 87% were ranked 200 to 100.
Remember, these are all particularly powerful or versatile quirk users. They scored so low on rankings because of other reasons, most likely a lack of promotion or disinclination to interact with the media.
They also all worked in major cities. 64% of them even had overlapping patrol zones. 33% shared the same insurance agency. 51% also shared the same hospital at least once. As well, only 12 are listed as having spouses in the public hero registry.
So far, most of all of that is circumstantial evidence. Still, what can we theorize all that meaning?
Based on what we know of Terracotta, Cyclops, and Triton Alpha, I believe we can conclude these facts. Someone or someones are involved with these situations. That someone has connections to the agencies themselves. They appear to make contact or at least observe their targets for at least a week before they disappear.
And based off the stats, we can conclude that they are targeting heroes whose disappearances are less likely to be noticed by the media, who occupy a relatively small area of Japan, and who share common work-related services.
Which hints at one thing. Whoever this is, they're smart, local to Japan, and involved with the hero industry.
What we don't know is why. What do they gain from this? What is their motivation?
If you have any theories, let us know in the comments. In the meantime, we're digging deep to see if we can track down more first-hand accounts of the missing heroes, what connects them, and what this all means for the future.
That's it for now, though.
Thanks for sticking around for this wild ride, and we'll see you on Monday for our weekly recap. Our Wednesday programming will be moved back to Friday, however, as school has really put a wrench in our filming schedule.
Stay safe out there.